I am a person who does not like change. A trivial matter, I know, as everything goes through change, whether I agree with it or not. I don't like change within the parameters of my own life, change that affects me specifically. And I'd argue that most people are the same way. We get comfortable with what we know and what we do, that the prospect of anything shifting out of the known feels like an attack on our livelihood. As I've grown older, I've gotten better with handling change, sometimes even embracing it. But there's one change that happened in my life that awoke something in me. Something that, if it had not happened, I'm not sure I would have recognized my subconscious feelings. My town built a new high school.
1, 2, ready, and.
Since the evolution from mining settlement to town, Lewiston has always had just one high school. Generations from my mom's side attended the institution. My great-grandparents, my grandma, my aunts, my mom, my older sister, just as everyone else who grew up here. The campus is filled with so many reminders left from graduating classes, many time capsules in their own regard. When walking through the halls, you could feel the history, from the old-fashioned carpet in some classrooms to the outdated drinking fountains on the second floor. It was familiar. It was welcoming. It was home.
I'd get up in the morning and park my car at the parking lot and then go in, and we would do, usually I'd have 3 classes and then lunch, and then did the other 3 after class. And then if we had a club that we had to attend to, a meeting, then we would go there. Other than that, I would just take a couple of my friends home, and then I would go on home and do my homework.
My friend and I took turns driving to school every day. We had this favorite spot behind the main building where we liked to park, right by a giant bush and a truck that sat there all year round. We were so excited for senior year when we could park in the senior parking lot. But of course that wasn't going to happen. The new high school was set to be completed and ready by then. They didn't even build a designated senior parking lot. There goes one piece of our history and tradition.
The social was just, our friends getting together after school or at lunchtime, and we could go to the fast food restaurants. But we always had to race to and from because we only had a half hour. Grab our food and get back. Eat it on the way back.
It wasn't so easy at the new high school. With the school's location moving uptown, a vacuum created for fast food. Lines for the cafeteria grew longer, and if anyone was willing to try and race against the clock, they would first have to get through the traffic of students leaving the campus parking lot. They only built 2 exit routes, after all. The new high school looks boring. It was a complete downgrade in architecture design. We traded archways and columns for boxes and stripes. We lost the classic look of a brick building. Now everything looks coated in concrete. On top of it all, I felt a loss of our student body voice. There were no more posters lining the hallways with events, clubs, or even just funny inside jokes that we have. The school board, or perhaps it was even just our school faculty, wanted to try and preserve the newness of the school as long as possible. So that meant no wall decorations of any sorts. This irked me for some reason. I wasn't in any committee or club that regularly hung up posters, but something about the fact that the quality of the school was being prioritized over how it was serving the students made me want to fight back. And so I did. I printed out some posters of what we would have had at the old high school and just distributed them around the building. I technically wasn't breaking any rules. I was just lying them around in classrooms and foyer tables. It didn't do much in the grand scheme of things, but it made me feel a little better. Like I had taken back some of my agency that had been ripped away with everything else. This preservation rule didn't last very long, thankfully, not with the obvious disagreements from both students and teachers alike, as it shifted to only allowing taping stuff to walls.
Oh, good times, camaraderie, clubs, drill team, friends, senior parking lot, dances, proms, football games, basketball games, just my whole world at that time was everybody at school and also in my town. That was my whole world. They built a new school, much to my dismay. But we have a brand new school now, so the property has changed. There are many more restrictions today than there were in my day, even like from the cheers to the things that we can do, what they can do now for Spirit Week, things like that. Just followed the different generations and times.
The school has gone through change before, little by little with every generation. I guess I just never really paid attention to it until I was forced into a new environment. I didn't realize how many traditions we had were tied to the campus, to the building, and how many we had to let go or adapt in the move. The loss of a senior parking lot led to a raffle for students to win 1 out of 12 parking spots that would be in the teacher parking lot. Many students began to DoorDash or have food delivered to the school to help combat with the overwhelming traffic congestion. Even giant posters with the names of the school hallways were being hung up, allowing some creativity back into our lives. I still miss our old high school, and that will never change. But I can see the beginnings of new traditions taking form in the new high school. We were pioneering what will become the new normal for future students. Students who have never experienced the old high school. The campus may have been different, but we were still the same student body. It just took a little time to rebuild our home.
But I don't know. I guess when I think of my own children, they all had their own friends group, and no, you know what? I'm going to change my mind. I think that it's probably the same because we're all humans and we all have feelings, and the people that you go to school with for a long time, they're going to be the people that you remember and feel like you were a family with.